Democracy. Ah, the siren song of freedom and self-governance. It's a tune that has lured nations far and wide, like wayward sailors hypnotized by the promise of an egalitarian paradise. Nevertheless, dear viewer, if you'll indulge my irreverence for a moment, let us peel back the gilded facade and take a sober look at what lies beneath. In theory, democracy is a somewhat poetic concept, isn't it? A government of the people, by the people, for the people, as one tall-hatted American once eloquently said. In practice, however, it often resembles a tragicomedy, a Shakespearean farce dressed in the robes of high ideals. You see, democracy, much like a fine wine, is susceptible to corruption. It requires a delicate balance of power, transparency, and civic engagement. Disturb one element, and the entire system can spiral into a parody of its original intent. Let's start with the puppeteers, shall we? The big corporations, the moneyed interests, the shadowy figures pulling the strings from behind the curtain. They fund the campaigns, shape the narratives, and ensure the politicians dance to their tune. It's a waltz as old as democracy itself, but one that has recently become increasingly brazen. Then we have the media, the self-proclaimed Fourth Estate. Once the guardians of truth, they are now often reduced to mouthpieces of the ruling class. They shape opinions, craft narratives, and sometimes blatantly peddle propaganda. It's entertainment disguised as news, a reality show with real consequences. Moreover, let's not forget the electoral process, that sacred ritual for the masses to anoint their leaders. Except it's often more theatre than substance. Gerrymandering, voter suppression, campaign finance loopholes. These are but a few of the tricks employed to skew the game in favor of the privileged few. It's like playing poker with a rigged deck and then being told to appreciate the fairness of the game. Now, lest you think I'm entirely cynical, let me acknowledge that democracy, even in its flawed state, is preferable to many alternatives. Autocracy, tyranny, dictatorship. These are systems where the illusion is dispensed with altogether and power asserts itself without pretense. Nevertheless, that's cold comfort for those who see the democratic ideal slipping through our fingers like sand. If there is one, the solution lies not in discarding democracy, but in reclaiming it. It requires a renaissance of civic engagement and a reawakening of the citizenry to the responsibilities and rights of democracy. It requires transparency, accountability, and an unflinching commitment to the principles that underpin an actual democratic society. It requires, in essence, an acknowledgement that democracy is not a spectator sport, but a participatory endeavor. It's not enough to vote and then wash our hands of the messy business of governance. We must engage, question, challenge, and hold our leaders to account. It's a tall order, I know. However, the alternative is to drift further into the realm of illusion, where democracy becomes a hollow slogan, a facade behind which the puppeteers continue their dance. Let us not be lulled by the siren song of complacency. The illusion of democracy is a mirage we cannot afford to chase. The stakes are high, the challenges are real, and the time for action is now. Perhaps it's time to pull back the curtain and see the puppet show for what it is. Only then can we hope to reshape it into the grand theatre of self-governance that democracy promises to be. How's that for a plot twist? Thank you for watching this delightful descent into the rabbit hole of human folly. If you found amusement in our shared absurdity or a glimmer of truth in the twisted maze of existence, then why not do something equally irrational and hit that like button? Should you wish to subscribe to this tragicomic journey, simply click subscribe and brace yourself for more biting satire, whimsical wisdom, and perhaps a few existential crises along the way. After all, in a world where logic is a rare commodity and sanity is overrated, what's one more subscription to a channel that revels in the chaos? Go on, embrace the madness. We're all mad here,